Okay, we're recording. Here we are again to the 10-minute burn. I know it's kind of awkward the way we just started this, but let me show you where we are. If it lets me. Okay, it's not going to let me switch it back. Okay, well, here, let me show you where we are. This is Jackson Memorial Gardens. And yes, we're still in Manassas.
Still in Manassas.
By the way, this is the 10-minute burn. I'm Carlos. Jerome is right next to me.
Yeah, we're enjoying a nice day. Enjoying Memorial. Everything's
This is
all
what
okay.
I got for using a phone. But anyways.
Yeah, that's the way phones are. But it's always nice to enjoy history since they won't wipe it off so bad. Nobody wants to take responsibility for the good and the bad in it. They really make it, you know. They don't want to tell the truth about it.
By the way, I'm not going to edit that out. I'm just going to leave it with the fact that I just dropped the phone. So.
Okay, yeah, may as well. Why not?
Anyways, we're filming here because we're trying to find a place that we could talk more about the vaccine. I think we were going to talk more about the vaccine, but we're also going to talk a little bit more about the history that's being erased.
Killed. Yeah, erased. I mean, we got kids. We got kids not being taught to really respect history, really to neglect history and not care about it unless it works to their advantage. I mean, they're teaching minorities to hate Confederate history and stuff like that, and that want to tear down statues so we don't have any record of history.
Isn't that how we learn about our past mistakes?
Exactly, it's how we learn about past mistakes.
The very history of the United States.
As American and people in humanity, man, you do not go erasing your history, man. If you want to erase your history, God help your soul, man. You erase your history, what do you have to learn from? How does that make you, a better person when you erase your history and throw it in the trash? I mean, then you become somebody that the left wants you to become, and that's sad. What do? They have everybody hurting each other when they go out. It's like I said, you see people wearing Trump hats. If you see people wearing Trump hats, my views are getting their hats knocked off their heads, getting beat up,
getting pulled out of cars.
Get pulled out of cars, man. You do that to me. I want to tell you straight up, man. Anybody ever jumps on my car, I will run you over. I do not care. God forgive me. I go to jail for it. That's cool. That's cool. Somebody want to take care of me over this. That's cool. I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna be a punk. I'll die a man before I die a punk. I'm cool with that.
And a lot of it, I would say, has to do with the ignorance. That's not. There's no individual initiative to try to learn anything of what we've done in the past, not for World War II, not for the Korean War, Vietnam. It just doesn't seem like these kids today have any inclination to learn who we are as Americans.
They won't bash who we are as Americans. They don't want us to be American. They want us to be like them. I mean, they're taking like different groups of like minorities and they're like they're like turning him into something different, train them to hate people. I mean, what can I say about that? It's just wrong. They're making so they don't have conversation. You like what's going on. It's like there's always a war to something. It's always like a Democrat against the conservative, against the Democrat against the Republican, liberal against the conservative. There's no place in the middle. You try talking in the middle, you get hurt. If you don't get hurt physically, you get your feelings hurt. I mean, the left brings you these groups that stand in front of cars and try to pull you out of them. I mean, it's for everybody who goes through that. I encourage you to defend yourself, man. Somebody comes in your car, try to take you out, ball that thing 100 miles an hour. I want to see you alive to watch us and to live for your country. It may sound crazy what I just said, and I'm cool with it.
I don't think it's crazy. I really don't. You and I have talked about this before in the car.
Yeah.
and we both have the same feelings about that. There's no way in hell I'm going to let someone come into my car, pull me out, or do
No.
anything to my passengers or my family
Yeah, say
and
here,
do
I'm not
something
having
that's
that.
really violent. That's not happening.
No, they go to like put the gun at the head enemy, man. So I'm not gonna go down like that, man. It's kind of world we're living in, where we're forced to take all this. They're grooming all these people to do that. You're trying to groom certain people, minorities, and then they're trying to groom like regular white folks to do this. It's kind of sad. I mean, they to do stuff like this to people. I mean, what happened to the freedom that to have your own opinion? What happened to the freedom to be who you are, the lovely person?
All the divisions are being put in place. There's almost as if there's a nefarious agenda at play to try to divide people
Yeah.
by by
Well,
by oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind, by your social standing on
yeah.
things, by
Social
the
standing.
way by the way that you
They're using the
your
code, the COVID
education
19
level,
for that. Everything. Yeah. Education level. It's like
your economic level, you're being divided by.
yeah.
Where
School.
you live, by
curriculum.
geographically, you're being divided by.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people are falling into this.
Yeah. They're falling into that trap. They're falling into that trap. People think just because somebody's makes more money in them that is their enemy. It's time to do the purge. I mean, it's like, okay, when does this stuff end?
Wasn't there a movie that came out?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. I was like thinking about that. Remember that where they had like 24 hours to kill everybody.
Yeah, and it was something that was sanctioned by the government or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's the kind we're living in times.
I can't
where
think of the
they
name
do
of the movie, but was it called The Purge?
Yeah, the purge. I believe it was the purge. I mean,
Wasn't there a lot of controversy behind it?
Yeah. They had a mask. Everybody thinks that my mask is the purge. No, we're anonymous.
Yeah.
We're something totally different. But yeah, there's some people that they had like their own group and they had their own masks. It's
Yeah.
like crazy. It's like watching iRobot or something.
The thing is, that brings up another point. This whole thing with anonymous. You think that's a real movement, a real resistance that's going on?
I think it is. I'm part of it, so I can vouch that it does exist. I've met a lot of
Because I've been
on.
because I've been looking at that, and every so often when I get on social media, I see this whole thing, where we go one, we go all.
Yeah, that's QAnon. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said I've met some in person, so
Yeah.
Besides-
See, I've never met anybody in person that's part of that.
that's understood. I guess I'm the only one that you probably met in person.
Um,
Yes, but yeah, there are more. I've met a few, quite a few, that hate what's going on.
what's really strange, actually not really strange anymore, is that when these pages come up and they're talking about QAnon and they're talking about,
Trying to censor them, destroy
they're
them,
being censored. They're being
Yeah, they are.
deplatformed off of YouTube.
Deplatformed, yeah, they are being deplatformed off YouTube. Yes, they don't want that information out there. They don't want people becoming like me, walk around here thinking the way I do, or thinking the way you do, for that matter, because they're like, there's something wrong with that to them. There's something wrong with that
Yet,
to the government, because we know what's going on. We're not for it. We're willing to fight and stand for us and go for our deaths. We're at peace with that, a lot of us.
and yet, with that said, Jerome here with the mask. I think you can see the mask, the Vendetta mask. He gets a lot of attention with that, and a lot of
We're
people
not.
either question what it is, or they give him a high five, or they say, "Hey, that's great," as if there's a commonality that's being established, a connection that's being established with a group of people out there who are against this nonsense, especially this whole COVID-19 crap. that's
Ever
going
since
on.
it started, I started wearing this on my head, going to the stores. People are like, what the hell? I'm like, hey man, you all forcing this COVID stuff, and it's a lot to